Sometimes it begins with a feeling you can't quite put into words. You know something feels different, you just can't explain why. Looking back, I can see there were clues all along. I just didn't recognize them. Now, if any of this sounds familiar, I hope this video will help you make sense of what you've been feeling. Because sometimes the hardest thing to notice isn't that your life has changed. It's that something inside you has been changing. I'm Dee Dee Sung, and if you're new here, welcome to Follow Your Lighthouse. Today, I'm sharing 7 signs I've experienced during midlife, signs I didn't recognize at the time. And if you've been feeling like something is different, but you can't explain why, you may recognize some of them too. By the end of this video, you'll understand why you've been feeling this way, and I'll also share the 3 things that helped me move from recognizing what I was feeling to knowing what to do next. Let's start with the first sign. You stop taking your own curiosity seriously. Looking back, I never stopped noticing the things that interested me. Life became full of responsibilities and routines, and over time, I gradually stopped giving those interests much attention. At the time, I didn't think much of them. Now, I realize they were telling me something about myself. If the same interests keep returning, it's worth asking, why does this keep coming back? You see, I don't think those moments happen by accident, and I think they're worth noticing. Because when we keep putting our own interests aside, it's surprisingly easy to stop noticing ourselves. The second sign is your life begins running on autopilot, and it's harder to recognize because nothing looks all that different. You get up, you go about your day. Before long, you're living more by habit than intention. And there's comfort in familiarity. Predictability can feel safe, but familiarity and fulfillment aren't the same thing. It's possible to feel settled and still feel that something is missing. For me, it wasn't one defining moment. It was the gradual realization that something inside me had changed. I just couldn't make sense of it yet. And that leads me to the third sign. You stop asking yourself what you want. Looking back, this one took me longer to understand. I'd think about something that interested me, then without really noticing, I'd talk myself out of it. Maybe another time. Or I'd simply let the thought go. After a while, I realized I wasn't giving much thought to what I wanted. Those thoughts came and they went, until one day I realized I wasn't really listening to myself anymore. At some point, I realized I wasn't just setting those thoughts aside, I was setting myself aside. The fourth sign is one I think many women will recognize. You keep saying later. Later when things settle down. Later when you have more time. Later when the timing feels right. I've said those words more times than I can count. There always seemed to be something that needed my attention first. And I can see how easily our own interests get pushed aside while we're taking care of everything else. And after a while, later can become never. That habit of saying later doesn't just affect your plans, it changes how you see yourself. Sign number 5 is that the things that interest you gradually get pushed aside. It's not that they disappear, it's just that there's always something else that feels more important. You keep telling yourself you'll come back to them, but somehow you never do. Looking back, I realized I wasn't making my interests a priority. There was always a reason to wait. But the longer I waited, the easier it became to keep waiting. Maybe you've experienced that too. After a while, you stop making space for the things you've been wanting to explore. And sign number 6 is that you can't make sense of what you've been feeling. You know something feels different, you just can't quite explain why. It didn't seem like anything in my life had changed, but something had. I just couldn't see it yet. And over the years, I had stopped making time for the things that interested me. Without realizing it, I'd stopped checking in with myself. So when I began feeling that something was different, I really couldn't make sense of it. And that's when I found myself asking, what is it that's missing? And the final sign is the one that brings all the others into focus. You begin to wonder, is this all there is? You begin asking yourself questions you may never have asked before. Is this all there is? Is this how I want the next chapter of my life to look? Those questions, they didn't come out of nowhere. They'd been building for a long time. Your curiosity, the things you've kept meaning to come back to, the feeling you couldn't quite explain. On their own, they may not seem like much. Together, they begin to tell a different story. Sometimes the hardest thing to notice isn't that your life has changed, it's that you have. And perhaps that's what this conversation has really been about, noticing what has been trying to get your attention. Because once you can name what you've been experiencing, you can stop wondering why you've been feeling this way. And from there, you can begin deciding what you want to do next. So I'd like to leave you with 3 things that help me move from recognizing these signs to knowing what to do next. The first sign is this: don't dismiss recurring thoughts. When a thought keeps coming back to you, don't dismiss it too quickly. It doesn't mean you have to act on every idea, but it is worth asking yourself, why does this keep coming back? Sometimes our curiosity isn't trying to tell us to change our lives. Sometimes it's simply trying to tell us something about ourselves. The second is this: take time to check in with yourself. For years, I became so focused on everything that needed my attention that I gradually stopped noticing what was going on inside me. Notice what energizes you. Notice what leaves you feeling drained. Notice how you feel after spending time doing the things that matter to you. Those small observations can tell us more than we realize. And the third is this: take one small step. Don't feel as though you have to figure everything out before you do anything. Spend some time exploring something you've been wanting to try. Take one small step, then see where it takes you. If there's one thing I hope you take away from this conversation, it's this: maybe the reason you have been feeling different is because something within you has been changing. And that's why sometimes the hardest thing to notice isn't that your life has changed, it's that you have. I'd love to hear from you. What stood out to you most from today's conversation? Let me know in the comments. If you'd like more videos like this, I invite you to subscribe. And remember, keep turning towards your own light. Until next time, take good care, and I will see you soon.